Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing some custom monogram note cards that I think you're going to really like. These are really fun to make for gifts. You could make an entire set of these and give them to a friend, or you could just make a couple of them for yourself. But either way, they are a really fun way to use alphabet stamps. And today I'm going to be featuring some brand new products from Pinkfresh Studio, including the Ina Alphabet Suite. Now, all of the products in this product suite are available separately, so you can kind of mix and match them. And it includes this stamp set, which has two one-piece stamps in it. So you have A through M on one stamp and N through Z on the other stamp. And then a set of dies that also are in that one-piece format. And then finally, there is a stencil set to color all these in. And these are a really beautiful floral stamp set and die set. Now, in addition, the hot foil plate is available, and I just didn't have it. I probably would have used it for these projects if I would have had it on hand, but it's on its way to me still, and so I will be using that for a future project. Now, in addition, there are some beautiful florals that are available in this release, and I will be using this Blooming Branch stamp coordinating die, and there is a stencil set available. I won't be using the stencil set for today's project, and I wanted to give you a quick look at the other florals that are available in this release. Now, these all have the coordinating one-piece die and layering stencil sets available. And I love that Pinkfresh does this because you can pick and choose the products that you want. So if you love to color or watercolor, maybe you don't pick up the stencils, but you want the stamp and the die, or maybe you just want the stamp. But either way, this product suite idea gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways that you can use these stamps, dies, stencils, and hot foil plates. So I'm going to start by embossing my Ina alphabet onto some Hammermill paper. And I have a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock in my Misty stamping tool. And I'm going to take these alphabet stamps and line them up on this cardstock. Now, when I first did this, I wasn't really sure if I could get all 26 letters onto this piece or this half sheet of cardstock, and it worked out great. And it did allow me a little gap in the middle where I could position my magnets for my Misty stamping tool. So I'm just closing the lid of my Misty and picking up my stamps onto the lid of the Misty. And then I'm holding my cardstock in place with two Misty magnets. So right there in that gap. Now I'm going to be doing some heat embossing with these, so I'm going to go ahead and prep the surface of my cardstock using my powder tool, and I'm going to give it a really generous prep here. There are a lot of stamped lines that will be on this cardstock in the end, and I realized I needed to kind of shift this over just a little bit, so I'm working on that now. But there are a lot of stamped lines on this cardstock in the end, and I want to make sure that I don't have embossing powder sticking in areas that I don't want it to. So once my cardstock is prepped, I went ahead and inked my stamps using some Versamark ink. And this is just the ink that I prefer to use for embossing. So I'm just going to use my Debbie stamping tool and rub all over the surface of these stamps. Like I said, these are very large one-piece stamps, and I just want to make sure that I get ink transfer onto my cardstock. Now, to be quite honest, my Versamark ink pad is kind of on the drier side right now. It probably either needs to be re-inked or replaced. And so to make sure that I get good stamped lines, I'm going to go ahead and ink this again and stamp it onto my cardstock. So I did a double stamping here. And once I use my Debbie stamping tool to press that ink onto my paper and get a good transfer of ink onto this cardstock, I'm then going to take my gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe and coat the surface of all these stamped lines. And I'm going to end up with 26 letters. And do you know what you can do with 26 letters? You can make a lot of cards. And today I'm just making a couple, but I have some alphabets or some letters grouped and kind of set to the side so that I can make cards for some friends using their initials. And I think that this is a really great way to use alphabet stamps. I know a lot of times we use them to do like words and that sort of thing, but monograms are really popular, and quite honestly, this would make a really great modern looking, but still kind of floral and flirty wedding card. I think this would be a great way to use this alphabet as well. Now, once I allow my heat tool to heat up to make sure that it's at full heat, I'm going to take this to my cardstock and melt that embossing powder. And I'm going to go kind of slow with my embossing so that I don't get too much warping on this large panel of cardstock. So I'm kind of holding my heat tool at a little distance from the cardstock, and you can see how beautiful this looks when it's all heat embossed. And it's going to look really amazing when it's hot foiled as well. So keep that in mind, that is an option. And you can see I am really taking my time with this embossing because like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing some stenciling over the top of this, and I just don't want a lot of warping. So here's a look at the alphabet once it's totally heat embossed. It's absolutely beautiful in that gold color. And while I have my stamping and embossing stuff out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this blooming branch stamp onto some vellum. I'm going to prep the surface of my vellum using a powder tool once again, and I'm going to ink up the stamp once again with my Versamark ink and stamp it onto the surface of my vellum. But this time I'm going to use a white embossing powder to heat emboss this beautiful floral image. And I love this image because it is really nice and large and can be used as kind of a partial background on the front of an A2 size card. Or if you want to do some coloring with it or use the layering stencils to color it in, all are great options. Today I'm just using the heat embossed image as it is to kind of add another layer to my card. Now, I also really thought that these flowers on this blooming branch tied in really nicely with the flowers on the Aina alphabet without them being exactly the same. So I liked the way they kind of pulled in that really lacy look, but they're not exactly the same flower. So they coordinate well even without matching, if that makes sense. So now it's time to move on to the stenciling of my alphabet, and I'm gonna kind of speed up the video here. There are 6 layering stencils for this Aina alphabet. Now the layering stencil is kind of divided into 2 sections. So you have your section that has your A through M alphabet, and then your section that has N through Z. So I'm gonna show you kind of how you can adjust that here, but I won't show you all of the stenciling that I'm doing because, as I mentioned, there are 6 layers. Now this first layer that I'm doing is actually coloring in the letters of the alphabet, so the base of the letter. And I'm using Ballet Slipper for this, and I am going over these with a very light hand. It is just like a whiff of color. Then I can move my stencil up and align it with the N through Z letters in the alphabet and do my stenciling with the Ballet Slipper. Now for stencil number 2, it will color in kind of the base of the flowers. So once again, I'm using the same Ballet Slipper ink. I'm just going a little heavier handed with that ink to add some color to the flowers. Now stencil number 3 is the base of the leaves, and for the leaves I'm using the Aquamarine ink from Pinkfresh Studio. And then I will work through this alphabet, and each time I'm actually blending the bottom half of this alphabet as well. I'm just not showing you that portion. Now for some of the details of the flowers, I used Coral Reef and Peach Fuzz ink to bring a little bit of that orange into it. And then for the details of the leaves, I am using the Aquamarine as well. And I will give you a good look here at these letters when they have all of the stenciling done. Now keep in mind, you could leave out steps of the stenciling process. Maybe you don't care about the details on the leaves. You could skip that stencil altogether and these will still be beautiful. Now, once all of my stenciling is done, I cleaned up my work surface and then I aligned the one-piece die onto the A through M portion of my alphabet. And I'm actually going to just trim this piece of cardstock in half, and then I will run it through my Gemini Junior to die cut all of these letters at once. And I think this is such a great way to get a lot of stamping and die cutting done all at once. And because I have so many letters, I have a lot of different initials or monograms that I can create with this alphabet. Now I also have the coordinating die for the blooming branch stamp, and I've gone ahead and aligned that over the embossed stamped area on this vellum, and then I've run that through my die cut machine to die cut that out. And then I finished off my die cutting by die cutting the second half of my alphabet. Now I'm using a sticky mat here, and this is actually a replacement die cutting mat for an electronic die cut machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette, but I use it in my Misty and in my craft room for different things. And what I'm doing here is I'm just aligning groupings of some monograms that I can create, some names of friends and that sort of thing. And it's a great way to keep my alphabet organized while I'm working. Now I've gone ahead and die cut some rectangles with some navy cardstock as well as the basil pale rose cardstock. And this rectangle die is from the Pinkfresh Studio Stitched Rectangle Die Set. And then I'm going to take this pink rectangle and I'm going to put it in my trimmer at an angle, and I'm going to trim it on that angle so that I kind of get this color blocked effect when I put this all together. So here's my two pink pieces here, and I'm going to adhere them onto the navy rectangle, and that's going to give me just this really cool color blocked effect. And then I'm grabbing one of these skinny strips from this Pinkfresh Studio die set here. I have some die cut out of some gold cardstock, and I will be adhering that where those two cardstocks meet to kind of give it a nice finished look. Now I'm just kind of planning out my card design here, and once I know where I'm going with this design, I'm going to start adhering things together. So I'm using some tape runner adhesive to adhere this pink piece of cardstock to the navy piece, and that's just going to, like I said, give that really cool color block look. And then I'll add some liquid glue along the line of that seam to add my gold strip of cardstock. Now I really thought this color block look was very cool. I have a lot of florals going on, and I wanted something kind of colorful in the background, but I didn't want it to be too busy or too much. And just doing this basic color blocking with cardstock, I thought finished this card off really nicely. Now I'll be adhering the blooming branch onto this rectangle, this color blocked rectangle, and I kind of wanted to get a good idea of how I wanted my letters to kind of overlap. So I just added a little bit of liquid adhesive onto the back of that C, and I'm overlapping them there. So if you haven't guessed yet, this monogram is CW for Carissa Wiley. Now you could make this anything that you want, and you could even spell out words like this, and I'll show you that in a second card today. But I did want to add some dimension to the back of these letters, and rather than use a foam adhesive, which I totally could have done, I decided to die cut 3 additional layers of the alphabet. And I have those 3 additional layers for all of those other letters that I created earlier as well. The problem is my letters actually overlap. And so that C, if I tried to layer all these up without trimming them down a little bit, the C would overlap the W, and then I would just have a mess behind here. So I'm using my scissors just to trim a little bit off of each of these C layers so that I can stack them up behind the C, and the overlap won't cause a problem on the finished card. And I am using my Barely Arts glue today. I really like this glue. I think it just works, you know? It's one of those things that you get and you're like, I don't know, I'll try it out. But the more that I use it, the more I really like it. So I'll continue to add those layers onto the back there until I have 3 additional layers of plain white cardstock behind my monogram there. And then I'm going to add my blooming branch onto the rectangle using a little bit of liquid adhesive. And I did my best just to kind of hide it behind the embossing lines that were already there. Now to add this rectangle onto my card base, I used a solid piece of foam adhesive behind that rectangle. That's going to give it a lot of sturdiness. And I placed it onto a top folding A2 size card made out of some Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. And I attached my monogram piece there with a little bit of liquid adhesive, and I'm going to set that aside with a couple acrylic blocks on the top of it to dry. Now I made a second version of this card, and I used the word hi instead of a monogram, and I kind of flipped the design just a little bit. I changed the way the florals were facing, and I changed where my actual letters were on the card. And I added a little sub sentiment that says, hey there, and I white heat embossed that onto some vellum once again. And that is a great alternative for creating a monogram card. If you're not into the monogram thing and you don't want to make this for a wedding, then you can definitely make this as a high card or use some really simple 2, 3, 4-letter word greetings and not the 4-letter words, you know, that are not nice. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there, or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I will have that linked below. Over there, you'll find still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as some information on a giveaway. This video is a part of a blog hop celebrating Pinkfresh Studios' September release. It has these beautiful florals and this beautiful Ina alphabet product suite, and I hope you will check that out because there's some great prizes to be had. As always, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I am so glad you're here. If you enjoyed this video and these projects, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you won't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are one of my favorites. If you want to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click the button on the left side of the screen. And here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.